Hacker here, your vacation rental business coach with Welcoming Wow. And I am here today with Michelle. And Michelle owns one of my favorite vacation rentals, which is the Somerset Ranch House. You may have seen it in one of our Saturday spotlights, but I really want to talk to Michelle and have all of you guys get to know her and her beautiful property as well. So Michelle, could you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and why you decided to take on this venture?
My husband and I made our way from South Carolina and Georgia, respectively, about, now it's going on 30 years. And one of the very first things that we did when we landed in the San Francisco area we went to visit the wine country. And by the wine country, the only one then was Napa, Sonoma. Of course, we've now added Paso Robles in the Central Coast area of California. And then where we ended up buying this property, Somerset Ranch House, is in El Dorado County, specifically the Fairplay AVA. So it was always a dream to have a vacation home in the wine country. And this is just very different than what I had anticipated, but still, I think it checks all the boxes and I'm super excited. And I feel like we're really early to the game there. So that's super exciting. But I have a real estate background, advertising and marketing background. My husband's in PR marketing. So this helps us just really cobble together some interest and skill sets. I'm also a licensed real estate agent. I don't do a lot of residential real estate anymore. I do some consulting, I do some corporate relocation, but this is what I like. I like the vacation rental business and aspect, and I want to grow this particular property and space.
How did you choose the name, the Somerset Ranch House?
Well, so this area in Somerset, and you can't even really call Somerset a town because it's literally a four-way stop with a convenience store, a post office, one wine tasting room, one restaurant. So you can't really call it a town. And so one of the things that I was a little worried about was there's no there in terms of searching for a destination. People know the general area. And like I said, the wine country has been up and coming for probably about, at this point, 20, 25 years. So that's new, compared to Napa, Sonoma, certainly. And so we felt like we needed to put Somerset in the title, in the name, because we need to start to establish the there. The ranch piece of it is it is part of a very big original homestead called the Myers Ranch. And so instead of keeping the Myers Ranch altogether, we wanted to add in Somerset and just hope that would help, like I said, establish where we are and just try to attract more people to this beautiful part of Northern California. Okay. And just put house there. What we're starting with is the one vacation rental. So the property has a barn and it has a casita and we have a vintage trailer. There's a lot more layers and things that we will develop. And then those will have offshoots too, like there's a Somerset Casita, Somerset Ranch House. So once that's established, we'll take on another name. Proof is in the pudding. We'll see. It's very new. We've only been out of renovation for a year. We'll see if putting Somerset in there has helped with searching on the various platforms. We bought the property. It was quite dated, but mostly just a lot of good cosmetic stuff. Wallpaper, floor, really spending a lot in the kitchen with new countertops, hardware, things like that. But so we definitely knew it was just going to be that vacation rental to start with.
Did you start with a direct booking website? Did you start with Airbnb or VRBO or something else? Tell us a little bit more about booking platforms. How did you choose?
So we did them all in tandem. I don't think there's any getting away from Airbnb and VRBO. To me, those are where your qualified leads, they're on there because they are looking for a place to stay. What I'm finding though is repeat guests. I definitely like to give them the opportunity to just reach out to me directly, and we can circumvent the fees for both of us and just go through either So we added Halfie because it's free and it's very user friendly, and it was just an easy way to put everything together in terms of syncing the calendars, a way for someone to do their booking and pay for it and everything. And then we also built a website, somersetranchhouse.com, and then sort of everything went out at once. Instagram page, and then just like I said, just sort of seeing what is working. And I have complete faith that, you know, more direct bookings will come through, but I think it just takes a while. You have to build an audience and a repeat guest. It takes so much social media to get your page and your website out there. And that's what I mean by really hard to get away from the booking sites of VRBO and Airbnb. And I don't really want to.
I'm in complete agreement with you. Yes. And it's great for the repeat guests. And that's definitely becoming the strategy of a lot of successful vacation rental owners is, you know, Airbnb, VRBO, but also have that direct booking website of some way, shape, or form so that your repeat guests can just book direct, you know, and it's not like, oh, well, yeah, just Venmo me or send me a check. No, you know, we can do this through a direct booking website and keep it on as a professional business too. So you did hire a professional photographer, correct? Or are you a professional photographer or both?
The photos for the most part that you see on Airbnb and VRBO, I took with my iPhone. Video, the drone and all of that, that's a professional photographer. And he took a swipe at the still photos, and I don't know what it was, if it was too big of a project for one day or wrong time of year for lighting. I didn't like them, but that does not mean that I'm not going to revisit that, because I always feel like you can improve, and that's critical. Those photos are critical. And then as time goes on, we'll add things, you know, like I said, as the property expands for events, and we have little new vignettes for, you know, a small ceremony or people to hang out, then that all needs to get added in. And I have found a local photographer right there in Fairplay, and she's wonderful. She does incredible work. So she's going to get the next shot at it when we've added a few things, zhuzhed a few things, and I know that it's good summer light. I see that when I look through a lot of listings, is a lot of dark photos, and even if the composition is good, and like that, you know, the iPhones are, the newer ones are incredible. You can get incredible ones, but where the dead giveaway is not enough light, and the professional photographers bring all the gear to make that happen.
I know California is, we talked a little bit about regulations in California. Did you find that to be kind of frustrating or intimidating, or was it more just time consuming?
Both. That's the honest answer. So I started in vacation rental business in the area close to where we live now, which is, like I said, the Oakland Hills. And so the first property that we put on, Airbnb did not even exist. They were just coming on the scene. VRBO was the only option. And that was a duplex. And it was, you know, very simple, straightforward process because we were zoned mixed use there. So I didn't have a lot of hoops to jump through with that. And it was pretty easy, you know, so just got the permit, got the 1 bedroom, 1 bath, just, you know, sort of dipping my toe into this world because we had this property and it had been long-term tenants for 10 years. And so I said, I just want to try this. And that was easy. And then when the tenants in the upstairs unit of the duplex moved out, I said, okay, I'll try it again. And things get a little more complicated because at this point, because of Airbnb, more and more property owners are doing short-term rental, right? And in a place like the Bay Area where we have a serious housing shortage, pretty much a full-on crisis. Okay. So the cities and the supervisors and city council and the powers that be start just tamping down on the number of permits they were willing to give out, all of the regulations and requirements that you had. So had a taste of it there. When we moved all of that up to Somerset, so I traded that property for this one, That's a whole other ball of wax because different zoning. So we're planned agriculture. So that's not a commercial use. So a lot of rules and regulations. Also in a very small town, a very small county that doesn't move quickly or want to change, even though they have a burgeoning wine country. They're still, very resistant to let people just come in and take over and do things. So I have finally accepted that it's a process and that I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other until I get where I want to go. And, right now, like I said, we've been very successful in getting the main house permitted for a vacation rental, and that's doing very well. And I'll just keep walking forward until I get where I'm going. It's amazing. I think it's very different than when I started because like I said, you weren't under a microscope, and now you are. But here in California, we're absolutely under a microscope because they don't want that housing taken off the market.
Yeah. And I would say Florida is not as bad as a lot of other areas, but still, there's still municipalities that can sometimes kind of make that a little more difficult. You've got the state regulations, and then counties are all different. And then the city, they all have their different rules. And I think sometimes that's one of the more frustrating, it takes time to walk through it all, but it's a necessity if you want to stay in business. So otherwise you're going to get in trouble, at least my opinion. So what would be one piece of advice if you could turn back the clock before you started the Somerset Ranch House journey that you might give yourself?
I wish I had done it that sooner, because part of the goal and the dream was also something my family could use. We had these 2 other vacation rentals that were 10 minutes from our house. We were never going to use that per se, right? So it was just another way to get rent versus long-term, short-term. I wish I had taken that leap a bit sooner, but I think, everything works out for a reason. I didn't even know this area at all. I literally saw the listing come in. I was working with an agent all over the area, Amador County, which is a little bit north of us. That's another wine country. It just came through my email one day, my inbox, and I clicked and I saw this beautiful property, this house, this barn, this pool. And I was like, I have no idea where Somerset is, but told my husband, I said, honey, get in the car. We're going to look. So that just don't wait. If if there's something you are dreaming about and want to make it happen, just
go for it. I like it. Yeah. What's the best way for them to find the Somerset Ranch?
Well, you go to somersetranchhouse.com. So that's our website, and you'll get a lot of great information, the whole property, all of the photographs, the aerial view with the drone shots. We're on Airbnb, we're on VRBO. I think if you search Somerset or Placerville being a very famous gold country town on the way to South Lake Tahoe, more people know about that. So you can find us there. So
is there anything I didn't ask you today that you would just really like other vacation rental owners or perhaps even guests to know about?
Well, we really didn't touch on the critical need to love hospitality. I'm in, just like you are. I mean, I'm all over social. I'm in a lot of groups for hosts, for guests, for all kinds of things, to interior design, to learn. And I feel like what I experience a lot is people don't understand this is your own little hotel. And imagine when you go to a hotel, you expect great service. You expect to be acknowledged, number one. So someone needs to be available no matter what. You need to be professional, personable. And I love that. And I knew that about myself. I knew that about my personality, that when people started making demand, if you don't understand what business you're in, that's what you think it is. It's more of a request. So that stuff won't get under your skin as often or as, intensely. Say to yourself, I'm in the hospitality business first and foremost. That's what I do. I'm in the hospitality.
I like it. Thank you for bringing that up. I do appreciate that, because it does unfortunately get lost. And I think there's so many, I don't know if they're groups or gurus or whatever. This is a great way to make income. It's a great, passive rental or passive income kind of situations. Like, it's not really very passive if you're doing it correctly, and if you realize you're in the hospitality business, certainly there's ways that you can, hire other people to do a lot of the work for you, but then is it really the right business? I do think that it's so important to remind everyone that it's definitely a hospitality business. So I really appreciate you taking the time out today to talk with us. It has been so awesome to get to know you and hear more about the Somerset Ranch House.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Suzanne. I'm glad you were interested enough to reach out. So that's
definitely. Great. All right. Thank you.